All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Secure by Design podcast. I'm Daniel Kulik, your host. We've had the privilege of speaking with many smart cybersecurity minds, different experts, practitioners and thought leaders, from really different corners of the industry. But today we're talking on one of the most talked about and most misunderstood topics in cyber: zero trust. Okay, and for this conversation today, I'm very pleased to welcome someone with both deep and real world perspective. Adeel Sheikh Muhammad is a multi-award winning cybersecurity and AI strategist, virtual CISO, international speaker, and author with more than 16 years of experience in spanning information security, enterprise, infrastructure, governance, frameworks, SOC modernization, GRC, and identity first, zero trust based security strategies. So as you can see, he's very experienced. He has advised organizations across sectors, including government, financial services, even education space and healthcare. And his work consistently sits at the intersection of business reality, and modern security architecture. So today we're going to cut through the noise and ask very direct questions to Adil. Zero trust, reality, myth, or marketing hype? Adil, welcome to Secure by Design.
Thank you, Daniel, for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. So kind of you.
Yes, Adil, indeed. Pleasure is all ours, and it's pleasure to be with you today on the podcast. So again, welcome to Secure by Design podcast.
Thank you, Daniel. So kind of you. And hello, everyone from the audience. Thanks for tuning in.
Awesome. All right, so let's not waste any more time. Adil, let's just start from with the very basics. I would say. Um, so when you strip away all the buzzwords, we have lots of buzzwords nowadays. What does zero trust actually mean in plain English to you? Mhm.
Traditional security work just like, airport security that, once inside, people move around relatively freely, right? But in modern environments, there are other issues. We have cloud, we have remote works, we have SaaS, we have mobile devices. Then now we have AI systems, third party integrations. We cannot forget that. So today,
Mhm.
attackers don't always break in. They often log in using stolen credentials or by other ways. So zero trust solves or says that verify identity continuously, always validate these devices, monitor the behaviors, limit unnecessary access. That's the main point. So zero day is not a product, it's a mindset shift that implicits just to continuous verification.
I mean, it seems very straightforward. But people, it feels like sometimes people just don't understand it. People hear zero trust, and they tend to assume it's like a product you buy, when in reality, it sounds more like a security philosophy and operating model, I would say. Don't you
Daniel,
don't you think?
why people get confused is we mix it with other abbreviations,
Right.
ZTNA, SSC, right? SASE, SASE, and all. So at that level, people get confused that what are you talking about? Which product we are referring to? No, we say XDR. What XDR? X is unknown. So But I just mean
Yeah.
that if we go back to basics, that what zero trust is, it's very simple, and the word itself defines itself.
Right. Right. All right. So let's talk about why people even talk about that aspect. So why did zero trust become such a dominant concept in cybersecurity? Is my next question. And what really changed it in the world that made the old perimeter model no longer enough? So what is the shift mainly driven by cloud, remote work, maybe identity based attacks, or maybe all of them? you know
100%, 100%. So the parameter is, disappeared long before many company realized it. Um, uh, I met a client, I think, last year only, and he said that, I was worried about my alerts and all, so I just bought another firewall. Now I have two firewalls. So, like you are beyond that point a long back ago. As I will repeat that the parameter disappeared long before many companies realized it, right? So
Okay.
the pyramidal model worked at that age when employees sat inside offices, applications were living in the data centers which were also hosted in the same building, and the
Mhm.
networks were very much centralized. But now everything has changed. We have these like cloud adoption exploded. We have remote working model become very normal, very expanded. uh, then we have these mobile workspaces, right? SaaS become a very business critical function. I always use this example that earlier, when we go to the companies, we ask that how many applications you are using. They used to say 70 or 80 applications, whereas now in 2026, one guy who is using OpenClaw has 80 plus integrations, right?
Yeah.
So like just imagine from the company point of view that how many applications now they are using, how many SaaS business critical applications they have, plus how many APIs they have. So similarly, the third party applications increase. So it's like a scattered thing, not like from one parameter. So when this
Yeah.
happened, organizations lost visibility and control, because where the data lives, they cannot answer this, right? And then the
Yeah.
data owner and other facility, data is the new oil. So so one side this is happening, that our where data lives is changing, the parameter
Mhm.
side is changing, and at the same time the attackers are also involving. So we came with these terminologies. I'm sure everybody from your audience have heard about the ransomware, the identity theft, the MFA fatigue, the supply chain compromises. Now we have bunch of more attacks. Like I think CrowdStrike say that 89% of the attacks are taking advantage of AI in some way or other, right? So the old idea was inside network is equal to trusted. That
Right.
completely broke down, right?
Mhm.
So identity become more important than location, I must say.
Yeah, amazing, amazing, amazing. I mean, I like how you summarized it. I also look at, I often see like many, how should I put this, like many security ideas. Uh, because of that, they lose credibility. And, for example, when the language sounds advanced, but the implementation underneath is still weak, that's the sign to me, So yeah, I mean, this is a continuous it's like in a way it's like a virtual game, but people need to understand the basics, um so anyway, so I think it's very relevant. What do you say? I mean, it comes from a word of wisdom, as I call it, and it seems like a also. I'm just trying to put some like very common ways of that could be easy for the listeners to comprehend this also, like for me it seems like maybe the old model assumed that once you were inside the network, for example, you were trusted, right? But today, as you said, in 2026, the assumptions if you the assumption feels very dangerous, as a matter of fact.
And denial, the definition of that network is changed. So
Hmm.
as earlier, it was like you entered into the building and now you are trusted. We were discussing that, somebody can enter with a USB and they can plug in somewhere, or they can use the Ethernet cable to do something, but that's very rare, right? Majorly, once they are entered into the building, just trust that person earlier. And now there is no building, there is no as such that physically, like, people are working from beaches,
Right.
right? So in a
Yeah.
layman, um, this network definition has changed. That's why we are saying that there is no parameter. Parameter is the gateway. There is no gateway as such now because of these changes. And
Hmm.
uh, this identity thing is very much important. That, for example, I trust that CEO computer, but I need to still verify it again and again. I still need to verify it every single time, right? So
So it's
identity
all
become.
about trust. It's all about trust. All right. Very good. Very important. Okay. But I want to go directly at the title of our episode. How much of zero trust is real strategy, and how much is maybe just a myth, and how much has become just a marketing hype, in your opinion, Adil?
Yeah, as we were discussing about these abbreviations, which confuse a lot of people, I say that the strategy itself is absolutely real. Modern cybersecurity frameworks, they are basically now aligning with zero trust principles. Myth is where you are believing these zero trust create perfect protections, which is never the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
We always say that cybersecurity has no silver bullets.
Yes.
So the marketing hype, that started from vendor when they realized that these terms sell very well, right?
Hmm.
So every tool
Right.
become zero trust firewall, zero trust network, zero trust endpoint, then zero trust cloud, right? So, but buying these tools without changing operational behavior change very little. And the real zero trust requires these governance, visibility, identity maturity, very important. Then the access control disciplines, and from the top, from the board side, the executive alignment, right? So real,
Yeah.
in short, in one word, if I need to summarize this, zero trust is very real strategy which is buried under these enormous amount of marketing noises.
Yeah. I mean, it is so true. I really need to add a little follow up question, because this is what you said, just the kind of like entered my brain very deeply. So I would say maybe the question would be, what are the biggest signs, like for example, that company is talking about, when the company is talking about the zero trust, without actually practicing it, you know inside, in house, so do you see any signs of that, for example, from your practice, maybe, like?
They are everywhere, from marketing to the future risk, from this
Oh, there you
general.
go.
So like, for example, people talk about zero trust is not about distrust, it's about removing the blind trust, right? So starting from that perspective, or
All right.
you cannot buy zero trust in a box, as a
Right.
general rules. But the marketing hypes are like the industry's turned securities psychology into this product category, right? Or some organizations bought zero trust tools without changing these trust behaviors. Like, for example, as a practical use case, I can tell you that if there's a client who is about to close a deal which
Uh-huh.
is $1 million or above, that depend obviously on company size, but still, if it's a big deal, the CEO will say that I need that document sent to him in 5 seconds, right? I
That's
don't
right.
have any concern about security. Like, um, you know, we are not here for using bad words, but give a F for that particular problem right now. Just send it over, right? So business always comes before these all security issues, from the CEO side, from the management side of it. So there are other marketing hypes also, that you cannot purchase governance through branding. And from the AI front, people I've seen that they are discussing about that AI change the scope of the trust problem. And the future of zero trust includes non-human identities, which is really really very common, right? Because right
Yeah.
now I read two reports. One report was saying that it's 45 to 1. The non-human identities and accounts are 45 times as compared to humans, and the other report was saying 80 to 1. So it's just a huge number, and that's a big risk, because we always say that John need to have that access or not, but we never say that for example, all trusted accounts, which are non-human accounts, should have those accesses or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. Totally. Totally agree. I mean, yeah. I mean, I, I will definitely, remember what you said about, the blind trust. This is very very crucial. All right, let's talk about my favorite part. Let's talk about the time when strategy actually becomes a sales pitch. Because I think that's where it actually most of the time it becomes. But in your opinion, Adil, has zero trust been diluted by vendors trying to label almost everything as part of the zero trust story, so to speak? What's your
True,
take?
true. That's a good line. So you cannot purchase maturity through marketing terminologies,
Mhm.
right? Uh, um, uh, this happen, often in cybersecurity. We were discussing about this XDR. Uh, then we used to had for this for the same for cloud security. Um, then we had for zero trust. Now we had for AI, right? So
Uh-huh.
vendors try to simplify these complex security strategies into branding language, and that creates a problem. I was watching a very amazing video where um, MKBHD and Mr. Who's the Boss have created together, and they were discussing the myths of IT and tech problems. So,
Mhm.
they started from this thing that, sometimes they want to sell something and they are creating another word related to it. Like, we have OLED, and then we have, something else like ELED or QLED or something like that. And sometimes those other, for example, QLED is not OLED, right? But people say that they are searching for OLED, so let's have a term which is nearby to OLED, so that we can sell our technology also, right? And
Right.
other vendors are also trying to do these things. So that's another problem. So I will repeat this thing, that vendors are simplifying these complex strategies into these branding languages, which is creating problem, and that creates this
Mhm.
unrealistic expectations for executives, right? um,
Right.
I'm sure you heard about that some organizations genuinely think that we bought a zero trust platform, so everything is good and we are secure. But there are other elements. I will
Yeah,
not.
I think everybody says that. So yes, I've heard that. I think, well, I think at least once. Just a joke. All right. So yeah, I think to me, I mean, cybersecurity often gets really, really, really messy when a strategy turns into branding before it actually turns into execution. That I think I see as a issue here,
True, true,
as
true.
well.
And like we have not discussed about shadow IT problems, and
Mhm.
now we have shadow AI, the tools which
Yeah.
are not accepted and allowed in your organizations. And if you are restricting your employees, they will try to use it in their personal devices. So, so like we are not focusing on that thing. You use the right word. It's a mess, like overall. So why?
That's what I
Because there
think.
are different pillars which we need to solve it, right? Privilege access accounts are unmanaged. Vendors still have excessive access, so much access. Third party contractors and all. Segmentation is weak. Shadow IT and shadow AI exist. These all things are already there, and we are saying that we bought a zero trust platform, so we are secure, right? So this is not good.
Yeah, exactly. So, we're gonna try to answer a question: why so many companies then struggle so much? So if zero trust is such a powerful idea, its inception, why do so many organizations, companies still struggle to implement it, you know pretty well in the organizations.
I think we answered, like, some of the points related to these, that,
Mhm.
you have other areas also where you need to
Yeah,
take
so
care.
I mean, why is the yeah, is the problem, is the problem mostly technology? Maybe something else, maybe budget, maybe legislative systems, internal politics, or maybe lack of clarity. It's just like maybe put it in a different angle for you. Yeah.
100%. I agree with this clarity problem. Let me start from
Mhm.
there, that, identity is the best starting point, because most breaches are involved compromising some type of credentials or some type of accesses, right? So, organizations should first understand that who has the access, what they can access, whether they still need it or not, right?
Mhm.
If they
Mhm.
are upgraded from A to B, now, do he still need those A accesses or not, right? Sometimes they don't. They are changing the divisions, or what, right? Um,
Mhm.
and it starts with, like, practical use cases, like the multi-factor authentication, the privilege access management, the least privileges, the identity governance. Then they can improve the other areas, the access visibility, the endpoint postures, the segmentation we discussed earlier, monitoring part, right? So in modern cybersecurity, identity become more important than, again, which we mentioned about network locations.
Exactly. Exactly. Okay. This is really good. And I'm gonna actually go back to the perimeters. So if an organization really wants to take the zero trust seriously, where should it begin? Identity, access, maybe privilege, visibility, maybe segmentation. So the question is, where does the journey really start, Adil? In your opinion?
I must say visibility,
Okay.
because, any identity and access management solution, also sometimes we are, doubling down on that verification part, and then the authority give access or don't give access. But the visibility part is sometimes ignored, right? So
Ah,
if we have visibility, we can only secure what we have the visibility for, right?
okay. Yeah, I mean, it's again, it seems very simple, right? Okay, uh, it's never that simple. So now, maybe I just want to pick on your actual experience, but without asking you to name any clients or companies. What does a realistic and well executed zero trust journey actually look like for you? Like, what's the pattern? You know?
So, can you repeat this question, please?
Yeah. Like, I said I don't want you to use any names, right? Like from your experience, from your personal professional life, but um, can you just explain what does a realistic and well executed zero trust journey actually look like for you, like in your words,
Y- Yeah, so, um, I think the best implementations are actually the least noticeable ones. There's not
Okay.
much points, you know, and when it does very, like, when the security is done very properly, employees can
Mm-hmm.
still work efficiently, without constantly fighting with these controls, and asking your boss for the MFAs and all, right? So if you're asking me that, as for the steps, um,
Yeah.
start from strong identity governance,
Huh.
then go with the MFA part, the multi-factor authentications.
Mm-hmm.
Then jump to, controlled privilege access, segmented your critical systems. So, as a steps, I think we should start. Number one, which we mentioned in last slide about the visibility. But once you
Yes.
have that visibility, start with strong identity governance. Plus, continuous monitoring is very much required. That will give you the visibility which we are asking for, especially for the cloud and SaaS. And then, the access decisions can be contextualized instead of a very static approach, right? And goal is not to obviously, the goal is not maximum restriction. The goal is to have the intelligent validation based on risk, right?
Right. Right. Okay. Very well explained. Um, now, very, topic that everybody's, aware of AI, obviously. I mean, I think people keep treating AI as a buzzword now, but in relation to the zero trust, so as AI changes the threat landscape, does zero trust become even more important, or that does it also need to evolve? What do you think, or it doesn't?
Nadal, AI makes zero trust far more important now.
There
We
you
touch
go.
on this part that they like sometimes with some reports they are 45 times more than us, and with some reports they
Hmm.
are up to 80 times more than us. Like employers knows this trick also. If they want
Hmm.
to bypass something, they are trying to create some machine to machine interactions, or these APIs or automatic workflows, or now we have the AI agents and all. So they are, I this is a practical example I remember, for a big fintech um, startup. One of the guy left, and after 6 months the team realized that there was some account, not one account, there was some accounts which were with the name of deleting, something
Wow.
related and like they came to know that that was the same person. I don't know what they did with that guy, but it's very hard to identify non-human identities, right? Um, we are entering into this world of which is filled with non-human identities, and I mentioned about this machine-to-machine interactions. Just understand that, if they are obviously my bot need to discuss with your bot, right? In a practical
In a
environment,
practical way, yeah.
practical world. So how many these interactions will be? And you are saying that no, this is machine, this will be safe, give full access. Why? Because uh, even sometimes I have personally seen that even they don't have trust in their management that they can go right or left, but they trust machines like anything. And that's the biggest flaw. So the future of zero
Yep.
trust is obviously not only human trust, it's machine trust as well.
Machine. Yeah. We're gonna have humanoids. We already have them. So now it's just a way of deploying them into our lives, and that's another part of a different conversation, right? Uh, but I think AI makes zero trust overall. Should I say it more urgent and more complicated? Maybe yeah, yeah, exactly.
Because like they also need accesses, they need the internal documents access, they need customer records, they need to access the codes, right? Code repos. Then very important, the financial data. uh, how you are creating these boundaries still providing the accesses, right?
Yeah.
I always discuss this part that 3 years back when Microsoft tried to implement this Copilot thing in a way that we will take screenshots of your Windows operating system.
Mhm.
Everybody said, no, we are not ready for this.
Well,
Now we have open claw in 2026 and we are giving accesses like anything. We have this Claude Cowork, and whenever it talks, people say, just do this stuff, man, take the full control, but just make it done.
yeah, it is wild, to put it in a very delicate way. So yes, and this is not gonna stop. That's the thing. That's gonna just speed up and overtake our professional jobs, whatever that sounds like, but that's the way. And just need to be aware of those things and react and try to stay ahead, I would say. So okay, great. I think now we can talk about the leaders, of the organizations. So if we have a CEO or CIO, or CISO, security leader, that is listening right now, hopefully, and they want to cut through the noise, what should they focus on first? What would be your advice to them, to the leaders?
The number one advice I can start with is that don't start with vendors. Sorry, we are sitting
I
here,
love
but
it. I love it. So simple. I mean, people just think too deeply.
And they sometimes say that the consultant is coming from vendor A. Consultant
Yeah,
cannot be coming from vendor A. It need to be, external consultant who does not have any biasness, right? So
exactly.
first start, don't start with your vendors, right? And start with understanding your trust assumptions, like, and
Uh-huh.
that will only happen when you are sitting with a consultant who is asking you some tough questions, right? Like,
Yeah.
which user have excessive access, which vendors can reach sensitive systems. And believe me, it should come from you, it should come from the leaders only. These questions, the cybersecurity consultant under you or 5 levels down the road cannot answer, because this is again
Mm.
executive approach where you need to tell which vendor should have what access in sensitive systems, as per the data ownership, right? Which AI
Yes.
tools interact with company data, which systems lack visibility. So then we can go with the technical capabilities. We can sit with the technical guys to understand the fundamentals of MFA, least privileges. We already discussed identity governance, segmentation, loggings, visibility, and all. But please start with some questionnaires, which even AI can help you to create, just as a first step. Or otherwise, the consultant who can sit with you, who can do an interview, so that you know where you stand right now, what are your boundaries, how good your layers or defenses are before
Mhm.
jumping to any solution.
Yeah, very good. I mean, totally, mind blowing. That many of the leaders just don't get those things. I see like sometimes in a big enterprise or corporate organization, um, there is a mismatch or miscommunication between, like for example, CEO or CISO. They seem not to talk to each other. What I mean, they do talk to each other, but it seems like they do not follow the same language pattern. I mean, it's understood because IT word is different from like the business word, of course. But I think in order for an organization to go forward, you need to understand, what you're actually aiming at and what's your vision, and and you know, so for example, you understand the terms, so to speak, of your business, and then you have to act accordingly. But you need all the leaders to work together, I would say.
And this is a very difficult part to come on, and frankly speaking,
Mhm.
if you are not sitting with your CISOs, that means that you have selected a wrong CISO, you know or
Or
C.
would it be the other way around also? Because
But the point is that the technical guy should understand the business language if he's sitting in a C position, right? That's our responsibility as a techno commercial guys. We have to convert technical use cases into a business language, not the other way around. That's why I was saying it like this.
what? Yes, one would think so. That would be the ideal setup. Awesome, very good, very good. I like that. I like that conversation. So, Adil, to finish up our productive time today. Let me ask you this question. So, when people actually finish this episode, what is the one sentence you want them to remember about zero trust in like simple message from you as an expert?
Yeah, so start from as a closing sentence. I need to say that
Mhm.
zero trust is not about disturbing people. This
Mhm.
technology is not here for disturbing you, for irritating you. Like, it's about recognizing the blind spots, especially in the trust category. That, it's about recognizing that blind trust, which no longer survives safely in this modern digital environment, right? So
Yeah.
and church today become very conceptual and adoptive, and it need to be continuously reassured, right? So again, CEO machine is downloading 800 GB of data overnight, might be he's not the CEO who is doing this, right? Can we
Mhm.
have this continuous reassurance?
That's a great question to leave us with, and good summary. So thank you so much, Adil. This has been a very timely and I would say very important conversation that we had today. I truly appreciate that. And to all of you watching, if you like today's podcast, please like it, subscribe, and share it with your friends and family, and hopefully with your colleagues at work. And help us make some commotion around this conversation going forward. And again, Adil, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for agreeing to be our guest today. See you in the next episode of Secure by Design. Thank you.
Pleasure, Daniel. Pleasure, pleasure to have me. Thank you so very
Thank
much.
you. See you
See you
so
again.
long. Bye bye.
Yes. Enjoy.